and we're recording. So we're recording. Let's see how this comes out. I might have to edit it up a bit, but I'm here. Here we go again. Got old Serge here again with a couple of, hang on.
Glasses of...
Oh, yours, there you go, a couple of glasses of wine. So anyway, hopefully our other video that we did has gone out now. And again, I would say that we're not trying to be specifically crude or anything like that in any of these things, but it is funny when you look at when you look at these things that we sort of covered, and all about the digital trap and all that kind of stuff and so on. But I pulled this website up some time ago. Now, those people that know me know that there is two things, even more so than the old 91 Divock whatever, that really bug me. One of them is these so-called celebs that probably aren't who they say they are, and the other one is the old yellow and blue. So a little while ago, me and Mum sat down and we decided to go and have a look to see if we could in fact visit the old yellow and blue. And apparently, as you can see on this website, you can, which seems rather odd when we are being told on a regular basis that there's some serious stuff going on over there. And maybe there is in certain places where they're able to use what's around them as a giant movie set. Anyway, so old Neil here, he's got a book full of information which we'll look at afterwards, and he can read off regarding huge vast amounts of money.
Yeah.
Huge vast amounts of money.
Whose money?
Cash. It's our money, right? Apparently, that is being filtered through this place, including masses. I mean, we're talking masses of armament that never seems to do anything and never seems to appear in any media propaganda nonsense pictures. So what we'll do is we'll have a little look at this site. So as I said, me and Mum pulled up. Apparently we can go over there and there's some very nice property for sale, rather cheap as well. Very nice property for sale. And I know there's going to be people out there who are going to go, well, you wouldn't want to go there, would you? No, well, not really, no, to be honest with you, just in case, but can you fly into Kiev? No, you can't, but you can apparently go to Poland and they'll come and pick you up and take you in. So anyway, here we go. Hopefully this is, like we said, is screenshotting okay. So here we have a website. And what's it called, mate?
Discover Ukraine.
Right, Discover Ukraine.
An amazing country awaits.
Yeah. So look at this, right? So what is Ukraine? Ukraine is a courageous and indomitable state located in the very centre of Europe. Cosy villages, loud metropolis, luxurious places, golden cathedrals and numerous sites. So you can... I'm going to put a link for this in because we're only going to keep this short because we've been rambling on too much just lately, right? But what I thought was funny about this is an old Serge here, he looked into a few things about travel and whether you... it's recommended by the old govs that you actually go and visit these places, and of course the answer is no, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's no, you shouldn't go to these places, right?
Big list of countries that... particularly the UK government, all the governments recommend that you shouldn't be travelling to.
Yeah, exactly, right? Now, my peeve with all of this, once again, talking about the, the celebs, the artists, old Jovi there, we stand with, why did they not come forward in 2014-15 when there was apparently something going off, because as we said before, it wasn't in their script. And I know Sarah will listen to this and go, oh, here he goes again, but we can't put these things to bed because you have to keep showing repetition, which is basically this is what this is. So you can have a look at this. We're going to put this in the description. You can have a look yourself, and I am going to email them. You can actually get merchandise as well. I'm going to email them myself and ask them what's the score, because interestingly, the main reason, and they've just slotted this in, see my little, I don't know whether you see the little finger going around here, right? Okay, now, autumn tours, the Carpathians, donate tours, food, you name it, it's all in here. Hiking, tours in English, transfers and everything. Get an insurance policy and feel safe. Why will an insurance policy make you feel safe if you're going to go to a country where apparently they keep bombing people?
Yeah, there's, the Russians have invaded and there's a war going on out there.
Yeah.
And when I go through some of the statistics from my little black book that I've been writing down and researching this morning, and we'll put a link to the website as well.
Yeah, the organisation site.
Yeah, the organisation.
Which just happens to be, and no disrespect to our German friends, just happens to be German again.
Yeah, which is monitoring the military and humanitarian aid that's been going into the Ukraine since January 2022.
Yeah.
With the statistics with the countries there, and as I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more and put the link in. It's just like, well, you've got one side that's saying this is going on and blah, 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 and then you've got, oh, come here and have a holiday.
Yeah. So down here at the bottom, one of the products...
War risk insurance.
War risk insurance. It's just... So here's the email address. So I'm going to email them, like when I emailed, Sarah knows this, when I emailed the Scots Guards to find out about the bloke, the colonel who works for this crisis cast nonsense. But this was what I thought was interesting, and they've added this recently: deoccupied cities. Right. So look at a flag. Or look, you got a press guy here. You know these people are all bent as they come, right? So we'll go to deoccupied cities, and the old machine's running a bit slow because we've been doing a lot of videos. Deoccupied cities, right? So you can get an escort into deoccupied cities that have had the shit blown out of them.
Nice old Banksy there.
Right, so unfortunately this has now changed over to, for some reason, it's changed over to a different language. I'm not sure what it is. So Ukraine from west to east, right? This is what, 1,490 quid. Let's see, change it to English, back to English. See what happens. Should do it. Maybe not. Anyway, but we don't really need to... oh, there we go. Deepen your knowledge of the ancient and modern history of Ukraine and our military-themed trips. Start this tour in Kiev, right? You would not go there under any circumstances, right? So, because apparently they are shipping out refugees, and that's another story in itself. But what I wanted to know, you can see these pictures here. Okay, not this one here. Right, up here, let's have a look at this. Right, so here's some pictures. So as you can see here, and it doesn't come up very big, which is a bit of a shame. And these buildings here are the exact same buildings that you saw Bonehead, oh God, get rid of that. You saw Bonehead Bonio walking around, right? Okay. Now, how is that possible, right? And that's obviously drawn on the wall. That's not real either. You can see that's not real. Here's an airport that's all smashed up, and I'm sure this is real. But the point being, and this is the classic building, how this up here is even standing is beyond me. A nice, neat, brand new flag, a couple of tyres here. What is this? So they're showing you that... these war-torn cities, which look old to me, right? These war-torn cities, you can now go and visit, yet they're the same pictures of the same cities that they keep showing you that are constantly being wrecked and bombed today. So those two don't go together. And you can see, like I said here, once again, as me and old Sergi have looked at him being a military professional, does anybody notice that there's never any bomb damage to the roads?
Yeah.
The roads never get damaged, right? How is that possible? I don't think that is possible, right? And all this you can see is as old as can be, right? So what we'll do with this is we will then cross-reference some of the pictures. Look at all this looks like it's growing out the top. This is all old. This is from 2014, 11 years ago, right? But the reason to bring this up is, again, to show that these lying scumbags in the press and the people that they work for, like old Bojo when he was over there. So you got Bojo walking around, a slot of picture in for that, with the little green dwarf going, boy, it's a lovely place, it's absolutely fantastic, right? He's got no bulletproof vest on because he knows no one's going to shoot him, right? And yet all their crew are all walking around all togged up just in case, including the Green Dwarf. I think he had one on anyway. But none of this adds up. So I know there's people out there who are going to say, well, perhaps this site is fake. Well, perhaps it is. It's got the departures and everything in there. So you can go 404, odd number, 404 pounds. Euros, sorry.
Yeah,
you can go and visit this with a guided tour. Now, again, who in their right mind would want to go and look at all this shit anyway?
It's like going on holiday to the Gaza Strip.
Exactly. But look, again, why aren't any of these roads... not one of these things could actually hit the road. This has all been blown up from the inside out and fried and cooked, in my opinion. But anyway, we're gonna email these people, and you can get car bookings, insurance, car insurance, property insurance, and so on and so forth to the Ukraine. And the other thing that was quite neat was, and I'll see if I can find it again, buying property in the Ukraine. So here we are, 24/7 entry rules and so on.
The hotels one is quite a good one. When you see the hotels that you can actually
go and stay in,
you'd think you're on the Riviera somewhere with some of them.
Oh yeah, exactly. But look at this. I mean, like I said, whoever set this up, and one of the things that I can do as well, which I am going to do, where to relax. I mean, what? I mean, it is just an absolute farce. The whole thing. Is Ukraine safe to visit or live in during the war? Well, that's badly written, so that gives you a little bit of a sign. But look at all this. I want people to have a look at this link and just work it out for themselves. Military foreign affairs, Ministry of Health, and so on. If this is a bogus site, I'll be able to find out, because all I've got to do is do a domain search, and we'll find who owns the domain for it, and so on. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Like I said, we're only going to keep this one short. But my old mate here, who's got his glass of wine on the go, and hopefully you can see. Can you see well enough? Anyway, we're gonna. Yeah. He's gonna read some statistics.
I thought about, when you showed me this, and thinking about countries and the industry and making money from tourism and all that type of things, and we know the difficulties currently that Spain has gone through. People protesting to say they don't want holidaymakers there.
Yeah.
Same thing with France and other different countries and stuff like that. So this morning, just thinking about what you said with this, and it pulling in finances and the price, and you can make donations from this type of stuff. I looked at world finance to the Ukraine since January 2022 up until the 30th of June 2025, just out of interest, just to see how much money has allegedly been paid by G7 European countries, non-European countries, or what they call donors on the site. And there's a website, and anyone can go onto it and see the statistics. It basically talks about financial and humanitarian aid a military aid to the Ukraine. It's the site where they're monitoring donations and what governments and countries are giving to the Ukraine, and it's called Kiel Institute. It's a German, Kiel Institute.de.
Yeah, we'll put a link in for that.
Put
as
a
well.
link in for that. But it was just, it was just out of figures and out of interest, and it said on the thing, from the 1st of September 2024, France has allocated 434 million euros to the Ukraine in humanitarian aid. The United States is the biggest donor to the Ukraine up until recent statistics and shutdowns, where they donated 114.64 billion euros to the Ukraine, split down over two bits. And again, we talked about numerology and stuff like that. 64.6 billion or $75 billion in military aid, and 46.6. So there's all this 4-6 and 6-4 and go round. $54 billion in financial aid. The UK, up to date, has donated or allocated £21.8 billion in humanitarian aid and £13 billion in military aid. And it goes on and it goes on, and it talks about the 42 countries, and there's lists, and you can go through all the statistics that the Kiel Institute has worked out over the years that it's been monitoring this, and the breakdown. But it's mainly about the military side of things, which I find very interesting. And I'll only take it as an example with the tanks.
Oh, yeah.
But let me just get the phone quickly. But I'll tell you what else is on there as well, because I could have sat down and worked it all out. Scroll down. So tanks allocated to the Ukraine by donor countries gives you the chart and what the monetary value is. Infantry fighting vehicles, howitzers, multi-launch rocket systems, air defences, and then it talks about all the other types of things. And we're not talking about weapons and military gear and ammunition, but Europe has allocated and paid so far, according to what it says, 167.4 billion euros to the Ukraine. And there's still a 90 billion euro contribution to be allocated and made, which by the end of 2025 will come up with a total of 217.4 billion euros in military and financial aid from Europe. And the tank thing, I just used the tank thing for example. I think when I looked at it earlier, that if I get the statistics wrong, then sorry, but I looked at UK armed forces, and I think it was 3,316 military vehicles, army vehicles, that the UK government says on the statistics that the United Kingdom has as of 2025. 219 of them being Challenger 2 tanks.
Right.
So between 2022 and 2025, that's June this year, 15 countries, Poland being the top country who has donated 354 tanks, and Belgium being the lowest country, you only have one. At different prices. They've given to the Ukraine 930 tanks. And the costing, it just gives the numbers, but it comes up with about $3 million worth of donations. And it says on the thing what the type they are. M1 Abrams, T72, T72A tanks, pre-owned, second-hand.
Yeah, that's what
it gives you a whole list of all these things.
I asked him, I said, why are they so cheap then? He goes, well, all second-hand, aren't they?
Second-hand.
Oh, useless.
Refurbished tanks, anti-aircraft missiles, multi-barreled rocket launchers.
Yeah.
There's been no visual representation since the conflict has been going on.
No.
Right? Apart from the things that they've already said were a lie, that things were filmed in 2013, 2014 of all this military hardware being shipped into Ukraine.
Yeah, and I think the thing about that, like we spoke about upstairs, was, you know, when I think I said a little while ago, we had a couple of friends here at the beginning of the year, and you know, they're great couple, again, older couple that we've known for a long time. And the guy, he goes to me, you could see he was itching to ask me something, right? And he said about us coughing up all this money for this country, right, along with other countries that have happened in the past. And he said, do I agree with it? And I went, no, I don't. And he said, why not? So he asked me the question, so I answered. I said, well, first off, I don't think it's going there. You know, you don't know where that money's going, do you? Nobody ever knew where the Live Aid money went back in the day. So I said, no, I don't. I have no idea where that money's going, and I don't think there's anything going on over there. And he rolled his eyes in his head and lifted his hands up in the air in absolute disgust. And I said to him, well, look, mate, I can sit you down for 10 minutes and show you that what the news puts out is rubbish. But he wouldn't sit down and do it, right? So like old Sergi has said the other day on our last video, if you don't do any research, you're never going to know. But statistically, as you said, where's all the gear gone then?
Well, where's all the money gone as well?
Yeah.
If it's for humanitarian support, where has all the money gone?
Yeah, where's the money?
Well,
We'll drop Al Murray in.
Yeah, where's the money?
Yeah,
with the
we'll drop him in. Right, where's all this armament gone? Right, where's all the money gone? And this has been going on for decades again, so this isn't just new. You look at the pictures, and you go back to mine and Sarah's video with the old Instagram girl army and everything and so on, and you can see, and I've got one picture here which we just pulled up with a girl here with a shoe missing. And once again, like we said in our last video about why are their shoes missing, and old Sergi goes, yeah, but that ain't a real picture. And we'll zoom right in on this one with this blonde. You know, what's going on here? Well, these are the same buildings that were in that Visit Ukraine site. And you can see she's got no shoes on, but the shoes have been photoshopped in. And she doesn't even look like she's really sitting in that place. This is a Photoshop picture. So when I got into this one with our mate, and I said to him, well, why would they lie? And he goes, oh, well, you know, they use staged pictures for all kinds of... I said, so they're lying then, aren't they?
It's all propaganda.
All propaganda bullshit.
Yeah.
And they did it in the First World War. They did it with the old Titanic. They done it with World War II and everything else. But one of the other things as well that we mentioned was... according to the laws of, I don't know what they call it, but, you know, if there's a conflict situation and people have to get out, they move them to the next safe space, right? The safe place, which in this situation would probably be Poland. Why are people from this so-called country moving to America in the tens of thousands, which of course is rubbish as well, and also going to Spain?
And the UK.
Oh, yeah, and the UK. But of course, Spain, Costa Brava, right? Get down there, get some sangria down themselves, sit around whatever they do all day long doing nothing. And we know some people that apparently, and they probably did, went there on one of these missions to bring people back. Well, you're supposed to drop them off in the next safe space, which is not España. Then you've got various people like that criminal in Ireland live on television threatening the public, saying if you don't take these people into your property, we will have you kicked out. You can sleep in a tent and they can stay in your house. Of course, all again to put people in fear and stage events so that people sort of say to themselves, oh dear, if we don't conform, we're going to get kicked out of our own house. And here we are 4 years in with all this armament. I mean, from a professional's point of view in modern day, do you really think there are blokes running about shooting through windows and crap? They just flatten the place, wouldn't they?
No. I mean, some of the pictures that I showed you down, I said this will be another one for us to actually go about what armed services are meant to be on standby to go out there, and the NATO side of things. It's just like, well, we're not saying nothing's going on out there. What we're saying is that the press will put out what they want people to believe.
Yeah, what they've been told.
And it's the powers that be, the governing controllers, that sit there and say, well, yeah, we'll let that one go. We'll let that go. We'll show them this, we'll show them that. And there's specific reasons. Has that amount of money actually been transferred or donated to the Ukraine?
Probably not.
If it has, where is it? And how are they not being able to rebuild their country?
Yeah.
You just have to look at the statistics after World War II. How much money was donated to rebuild Germany?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but money fiddling. And also, according to that website we've just looked at, and hundreds of pictures that I've looked at, and I know people are going to say, well, you've got too much time on your hand, which I haven't. But, like we said, this is an important thing. This is a quest that we've been given to take part in. According to pictures that I look at, there's some lovely places out there that haven't been touched. It's one specific area that they use for all these pictures, and I got a great picture of this woman, which I'll throw up. This woman, this press woman, and there's this hole full up with so-called dead bodies, and this chick standing there, this girl standing there in this bright bubblegum pink jacket with a press bulletproof vest on. Right, there is no way that you would stand there in a bright pink vest. I don't care where you are, because you are a prime target to be taken out by apparently one of these horrible Russian assassins, right? Because it's all fake, it's not real. And they've used this, and is it funny? I just think it's funny that it kicked in directly after the old 91 Divok. And of course, like Sarah laughed at, you got all these soldiers with their little paisley masks on and all this kind of stuff, saving babies out of rubble. It's just part of this thing. But I thought the statistics...
Yeah, particularly, and I'm going to monitor that. I'm going to monitor that site and see what they come up over the next 5 years up until the 2030 stuff. Because it's going to go on. I
would say to anybody, look into the Red Cross, look into Oxfam. Wasn't that long ago that the Oxfam head was at the World Economic Forum saying that the Convid was the most profitable product in history. How can it be a product then? They're telling you every time, they're telling you, wake up people, we're telling you what's going on. Right, so yeah, old Sergio looked into, changing the subject just slightly, because I said we'll go on forever about this as well. We watched a thing. I could hear him laughing upstairs, and I went upstairs. He goes, "Here, look at this." And this was the thing to do with this comet flying through space, right?
3i Atlas.
Yeah,
3i Atlas. You've got the guy that sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I spoke about him last time, talking on there on CBN News, where they've just recently showed the space fleet images, the space fleet which was mobilised to catch it as it passed Saturn and Mars, or Mars this week, and this image, and they can scientifically tell by the pixels and zooming into this photograph and the tail how big the comet is and how heavy it's going to be, and of course bringing back straight into the numerology thing, which made you giggle on it.
Oh, yeah, couldn't make it up.
33,000 tonnes.
Yeah, I mean, so the guy in this video, and again, if we can find it again, we'll put a link into this. I think he's sort of like Asian looking, this bloke.
It's on the CBN News from yesterday.
Yeah, anyway, see, he's a crook. Instantly, the bloke is either brain dead or he's a crook, right? And I would put the second, a crook. And then he talks to this guy who's all excited, and he's sitting in his office and everything, and they have to throw the number in. They can't resist throwing the number in. But like we said, in our combined years, and my mum and my gran and everybody out there, we keep having these near misses, like where something's going to crash into the earth. Does anybody ever remember anything crashing into the earth? And the answer is no, because nothing has ever crashed into the earth. It's all made up rubbish, right? And these bods that do all this, they have to keep throwing the numbers out. And again, it's down to that fearmongery and keeping people, you know, always concerned. I mean, there was that, what was that film? Don't Look Up. Right?
Yeah.
Keep watching the skies. But I think they're going to pull something. They're going to pull something classic very soon.
Yeah, there was another one that I read that came up on the old Google News feed this morning, of another comment, near miss, 250,000 miles from the Earth, and it's classified as a near miss.
What did George Carlin goes? No, it's a near hit.
Yeah,
it nearly hit. If it was a near miss, it nearly missed, but it didn't.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
But I would say, you know, like I said, I know you shouldn't get wound up. I mean, it is very, very funny. And as we've said over and over again, I mean, Chris and Dom again, we always bring them up because they were pretty much the first people that I found, in the 2020s that were really like getting on it, you know. And they're obviously like Max Eigen, all those guys, and so on. You know, like we said, the 10% rule. But you know, Chris was calling it the Rusty Tank War, and you could see that stuff has been lying around for years. This is nothing new. And I guarantee you that if you could get hold of anybody that actually lived out there, they would say, well, we don't know what's going on. I mean, they tell you that during World War One, people in Britain could hear the fighting on the Somme. Can people in Poland hear rockets going off and bombs exploding? I would say probably not. Because, you know, and, I mean, somebody fires a shotgun like they do here when the chasse are out, and all of a sudden, you know, there's a little puff of smoke and that's where a rocket landed and so on. But we've got a couple of little experiments we're going to do and see what people think about some of these things. We won't go into it, otherwise it'll spoil the surprise. But like with the old you know what in 2020, you've got to take a little bit of a look. And like you said about if you don't research, and you've got it right in front of you, haven't you?
Yeah, it's there. I mean, I've not made those statistics up. It's an official institute, and you can look online at the pictures of the building and the big emblem out the front and the statue that's out there. And of course, when I showed you it, what was it?
Yes, a big black pyramid. I mean, you know, I guess they must just be having a right old laugh. But the other thing that was funny, and we'll end on this one because go pretty quick, 30 minutes here. Yeah. But
maybe we get a 33.
Get a 33 in there. Yeah. What about the new the space crew? They've got another space crew.
Oh, Group 24.
Group 24.
Yeah, the new astronauts that are going to be training for 2 years before they're eligible to go into space. And the article, which was really good, said it's the first time that there are more female astronauts than male astronauts, and instantly you looked at the guy at the back, and said, look at that, it's another Buzz Lightyear.
Another Buzz Lightyear standing at the back, right? So Group 24, they called it Group 24, and it's going to take 2 years. It's 12 months in a year, 2 years, 24. Why call it Group 24? What? Because they know that it's going to take 2 years to train for this thing. And they've actually got what looks like an attractive girl. For once in the entire space program, they've actually got a girl who looks like a girl.
And apart from the big dude at the back.
And there's this great big teethy so-called woman at the back who's about 9 foot tall. And they're all standing there grinning away. I'll slot the picture in, but they're all standing there grinning away. Now, they're either in on it, or they're NASA nerds who actually truly believe that in 2 years they're going to be shooting off into outer space like Captain Kirk. And that just came just after, and we haven't finished this one that I've been editing, dropping these pictures in about the NASA, what is it, the what's the Apollo, not Apollo, the Artemis.
Artemis 2.
Yeah, the Artemis 2, right?
Artemis 2.
And you have to ask yourselves as well, why do they keep using all these Greek and Romanesque gods' names in all of this stuff?
Ready Player One,
you know? Yeah, exactly, right. So anyway, but we thought it was interesting, and if you want to, just type in buying property in the yellow and blue, and you'll find plenty of websites out there that will tell you that yep, you can come over and buy it, and they've got some nice houses over there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just a quick one at the weekend, and anyway, we'll catch you soon.